Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent a warning to anyone thinking about crossing into our southern border illegally. You could get eaten, okay? You could get eaten by an alligator in the alligator-infested Rio Grande. I think we have some video of this alligator that, yes, he's just chilling. I'm just saying, he's just waiting for a wannabe migrant. He looks awfully comfortable and awfully hungry for people who are planning on breaking the law. Greg Abbott shared the social media post on X and said, alligators are in the Rio Grande. FYI, there are warning signs posted in some sectors. Cross at your own risk. Now, interestingly enough, crossings in Texas have fallen by half, not because that they're not coming, but because the cartels have turned their attention to Arizona and New Mexico, who are, I would say, not as tough as Texas. I don't believe that Texas is doing as much as they could. I do think that a lot of their tough talk is for optics, but I mean, the tough talk is more than Arizona is doing, for example. So there's that. But I want to play for you guys Acting Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Troy Miller, who faced questions from Congress today. And he told the House that the Border Patrol, look, they're not really admitting people into the country per se. Watch.
But if no red flags come up on that individual somewhere, that person will be admitted into the interior. That was my understanding, again, from what I was told at the border in January.
He or she will not be admitted into the interior.
With no red flags. I mean, no red flags come up anywhere. No red flags come from all this information sharing. So we're not admitting people into the interior who don't have identification.
Admit would be the wrong terminology. We could release somebody with a notice to appear.
Oh, a notice to appear. Okay, so we would be counting on this young Iranian to basically show up somewhere at a office in the interior after they're released into the interior. That sounds like a plan that's pretty dangerous.
Look, admitting is kind of a strong word, okay? We don't admit them. We just release them into the country. But it is with a notice to appear. And they do super duper pinky promise that they'll come.
Yeah, because admittance would have to be a legal process. He's telling you there, no, we're not bringing them in legally. But we're bringing them in. He's not saying they're not entering. Admitting, because it's technical, legal, immigration terminology. So, no, they're not admitting them.
They're just being released. And if they go into the interior of the country or if they go back across Mexico, I don't know.
By the way, the complete cockamamie nonsense that was just spoken there is that there's red flag background checks. Nobody is checking anybody
also,
that's
if they
crossing
don't have,
the border.
If they don't have ID, how are you
red
going
flags.
to check them?
Nobody's checking for red flags. There's no flags are being checked. They don't. Come with us to the border and your jaw will drop to the floor. So, no, they're not legally admitting them. No, but they're giving them a notice to appear. By the way, the earliest notice to appear I've ever seen was 2035.
Oh, good.
2035.
Well, that's only 11 years.
11 years from now, you've got a pinky swear promise that you go to that immigration judge, wink, wink, in that city, and you got to render yourself in and say, hey, here I am. I was not admitted.
Well, it's not enough notice because, I already have something scheduled on that day, so I can't actually show up, which, of course, to Yaku's point, Eric, when these people, that's all part of the plan, because then when these people do show up, they are able to argue that they have made a life here and they have children here and they have a job here and they have all these little stickies for why they should be able to stay here. Because it's been 11 years.
No, I'd just rather them not be so chicken crap around like what's actually being done. And then let's argue the merits of the situation, right? No matter how pro-immigration you are. But that's what kind of frustrates me about like these guys and how they talk about the border. It's like that was a really slimy answer that he gave, right? He was saying that, hey, we're not admitting them, we're just releasing them and they have to appear in court later. So they are here, though. They are in the interior. Okay, I would love for the conversation to be about that, right? And I think purposely that's why they're talking around it, because they don't want to talk about that. Okay, if you think that is how I guess immigration should be handled in this country, make the argument for that then, right? Okay, go ahead and make the argument from that then. I have a hard time believing that they'll be successful, right? But that's why they're talking around it, so they can at least fall back on, well, we're doing a little something here. We're not doing what you're saying that we're doing, though technically, yes, that's exactly what it is that we are, right? You're saying that we're just letting people in, to do anything willy-nilly. Right? But actually what we're doing is, well, we give them they need to appear in court. I'm like, bro, people in this damn country that live here ain't appearing in court notices. What are you talking about? Somebody that comes here and isn't from here.
Truth there.
Come on, bro.
Tell them the truth.
Somebody whose ID you do have is still not showing up.
We're releasing criminals from custody in this country after we capture them.
Yeah.
Hello, Eric Adams, Gavin Newsom, right? But no. Dude, I had a guy, there's a guy on my show today who's former senior leader at DEA who was one of the heads of the war on drugs in the 80s and the 90s, right? And he said, Yaku, and he was with me at the borders a couple of times. His name is Jeff. And he said, you have no understanding. That war is so lost today. He was literally highlighting to me the facilities in Mexico that's funded by China, where they're training the Chinese how to take chemicals and making the fentanyl, how they're taking their cast and die machines to stamp out pills, and they're selling it at cost to anybody in Mexico that's willing to buy them, how the current Mexican president is aware of it, how it's state-sponsored. This is this gigantic partnership.
Yeah. I talked to Peter Schweitzer.
Between Biden and China, and it's a gigantic partnership to destabilize this country.
If only someone would have warned us that Joe Biden could be some sort of a national security threat, that maybe he had some, alliances or allegiances with foreign countries where his son was getting a lot of money. If only
$3 billion.
If only anyone could have told us that was a thing that happened, maybe we could have chosen differently. But then again, fortification. That's all I'll say about that. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.